Alright, should be live now. Make sure Spotify doesn't disappear. That said, let's begin the game development. So, currently a couple of issues I need to address with this new attack. Currently, the randomization doesn't account for spacing between the various spinners. So I'm gonna have to code that in. Which is gonna be a pain in the ass, for the record. So I'm figuring we just have to do a repeat here to like check the whole list and get like a distance. Oh boy. Okay. So I believe we can just do this. We can set like a variable here. And then we basically just randomize these instead. So we would set this. Sorry, we'd set this. Oop. There we go. Oh, I see. I was wondering why it was triggering an error. That would explain it. Add a random bracket in there. So, yeah, just want to double check something. Okay. We're also gonna have to have a var underscore I. Then we're going to have a var underscore valid position. So then we have a while it's not a valid position. Then we would repeat this. So just to comment this out. A valid spawn position. Don't need to do that. Position of a spinner. Position of spinner. So we reset boolean, since this may not be a valid position. Okay, so then we randomize the X, followed by randomizing the Y. Then we would go through the list. We'd actually do this divided by 2. List and check each existing position. Distance. So we'd actually set valid position to true. So we would assume this is a valid position until proven otherwise, which is below. Then we'd also need like a distance variable. So then we also set the distance. Actually, no, we can just set this once, I believe. That makes it so that it's a little less taxing for like the further checks. So like the more positions that have already been randomized, the more lenient it'll be. Yep. Here we'd have like I plus before I forget. Or actually, we'd need to increase it by 2. Because we're checking 2 positions at any given time. Wait, no. There's no reason for that, so I'd actually have to... set this here. So reset iterator. And then here... Yeah, okay, so... Then we do a distance check. Okay, if point distance, I believe it is. Yeah, so point distance. I just want to double check with the documentation. Okay, so if point distance for spin X, spin Y, that's between this randomized position and it would also check extra vase at position I. Then it would do extra vase. Position. Oh, hang on. Before I forget, I need to make sure that this is set. Then here we would decrease distance. Or actually, no, we'd only decrease the distance if needed. So never mind. So we do I+1. So this is where we would put, if the point distance is less than distance, then we'd set valid position to false. Too close yeah, too close. We'll just simplify it to that. X and Y. So if it is too close, we would we would decrease distance by 5 just to be safe. So become more lenient. Break, current, repeat. I believe that's what break does. Okay, so I just want to double check this. Add a randomize X. Add a randomized Y. I believe this should be correct. I'm also just gonna add some more comments just to be sure. Randomize 5 positions. Yeah, I believe this should work. Let's just try it. Whoop. Let's just try it and see if it works. It'll be evident if it works by the fact that spinners should spawn a lot more spread out. Yeah, that's a little better. The attack is still a little bit too hard, but It has a lot of potential to just put targets in places where they're pretty inaccessible, but the position randomizer seems to be working at least, which is always good to see. I haven't seen any overlap yet. Oh god. Did I have a... I didn't have a set a spawn zone. I'm pretty sure. So let's go look at this. Okay, so in the draw event, we need to set this to be index 29. So then, when this compiles, it should make it so that the target can spawn in a wider range of areas. Oops. I'll work on balancing after this, since obviously the attack still needs to be balanced a bit better. But yeah, so this is the zone that the target can spawn in, which is much more fitting than it was before. Right now I'm also just trying to test a bit with like the difficulty. I think you can get into situations like this where the target is just like through way too many like different spinners. Which is a bit of an issue. Sometimes it's like that and it's kind of fine, but I don't know. I don't want to cut it too close. So let's look at this quickly. I guess it's actually a spinner. So currently it's mod 20. Maybe 30 would be a bit more reasonable. I think that makes sense. OBS, thank you. This feels a little more reasonable, but you sometimes still get into bad situations. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'd have to look at the direction randomizer to sort of go through that with a finer comb. Alright, take me out. So let's see, if it's spawning at every 30 frames. Let's have a look at this. It's spawning at every 30 frames. So 30. Okay, I see. So when it's 4, it comes out to around 120 degrees per second. So we need to avoid multiples of 4, essentially. Which is okay with me. I believe that should be fine. I'm gonna go quickly pull up a calculator. So if we have 4.5 times 30, that's 135 degrees, which is fine. And then if we take 6.5 times 30, that's 195 degrees, which is fine as well. Although I believe that could actually be a bit greater then. So we'll try that. I also want to change the name quickly. Um, hmm. I don't know. I'll call it delectable fruit. I believe that's the correct spelling of that. Delectable. Okay, yeah. Since it's... I want to be the guy reference, so... and then we would have in Lord Practice. Right, it's in Lord Practice panel. We do this. Save that. Okay, yeah, so these spawn a lot more... a lot less straight. Which is good. I mean, currently it's a little bit easy. Just because the spaces are so wide open. I wonder if maybe, like, messing with the speed of, like, the projectiles themselves would make a difference at all. This is definitely, like, a bit too easy. So yeah, I'm gonna mess with the bullet speed for a little bit. Or actually, I'd have to go into the bullet script. Find where it says spinner. So yeah, then we'd set this to like 4. We could also make it a little bit less on the timer. So if bullet timer -2, mod 28. We can test the difficulty on this. Well, that was a lucky target spawn. Oh god. That one was just me not paying attention, to be honest. I actually kind of like the slower projectiles. It's good. For now, I'd rather lean on, like, the easier side anyway. So I guess this is the next thing I need to fix is target spawning in places like this, where it's kind of like that kind of sucks to get to. So um this. Like, especially if I didn't have a weapon, targets like that would be, like, really hard to get. But that's an easy fix for that. We basically just run the same algorithm from this script, but for the target. Our only difference is that we just don't repeat it 5 times and we don't add, like, the new position. So then we add that to target script. Or actually, I believe it randomizes this in the... Yeah, okay, so it randomizes this in the target script itself. So this is... Oh, why isn't stream updating? Wait, that's really weird. Game Maker? You alright? Oh, I see why. Okay. Okay. So this is what I was actually looking at. So this could be difficult. Ooh, this is gonna be difficult to script in. Hmm. So we're basically gonna have to do like another variable check. Is fruit equals false? Do if obj underscore spawner dot... What is it? Like, what's the pattern? Okay. Pattern equals... I believe it's 56? Is the pattern that this is? Yeah, okay. Hmm. Just trying to wrap my head around how I do this. So then I'd also have to have like a fruit validation equals false. Actually, no, I can... Right, I would need a fruit validation equals false. If... Okay, while... underscore is fruit... and fruit validation is false. We repeat this. Fruit pattern stuff. Pattern at 56. Whether or not this is fruit pattern. Whether or not the fruit pattern. Whether or not this is a valid position in the fruit pattern. Yep. Repeat if needs to be validated. Fruit pattern. I don't really know why this is here. Oh. I don't really know why this check is here. It's the thing I'm struggling to wrap my head around. Like, it feels like this already just does that. But, as a programmer, I am too scared to remove it, even though it doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I'm too scared to remove that and see what happens, so I'm just not gonna. So this is where things are gonna get messy. So I'm gonna make some markers like start paste, end paste, just so that I know where I'm copying and pasting. So we don't need this, because this is just our regular X and Y position. Like, we don't need a variable for that. We don't need the text name. We will need I. Oh, okay. This is how far it needs to be from any given target. And we're not gonna budge on this. Like, I don't think we need this. Oh, okay. So I don't think we need this. And I don't think we need to add anything, because this is just our X position. Funny thing is, we already have an I variable, but it's just not a temporary one. So this I variable should still work. But just to be safe, I'm gonna... Nah, okay, I can't be bothered. So I believe all we actually really need to do, because we don't need to re-randomize this. Like, we already have fruit validation set to false. We can reset it here. We will need a var I. That should be set here. Call this fruit iterator. So we reset this. We reset... We reset whether this is a valid spawn position. Reset fruit iterator. But I guess the only problem with this then is that this means that it'll no longer run if this is not fruit. Good lord. Well, that sucks. Oh, God. I'm suffering. I mean, we don't need a distance variable if we're not gonna change it. So we can at least simplify that. For now, I'm just gonna add this. Like, I'm just gonna get the busy work out of the way while I think about this. So yeah, that should be... We should set this to true. Okay, assume that this is a valid position. I believe this shouldn't be there. So we check each existing X and Y position. So here we would set fruit validation to false. Now, what we would do... I believe we can just paste this here instead. Start fruit randomizer. End fruit randomizer. I understand I'm like switching between Australian and American spellings for randomizer. If only I could just choose one. Fruit validator, I guess, would be the better term. And fruit validator. So basically, this is what it does. And I guess we just copy and paste this later. If it's not a fruit pattern. This means fruit validation should be set to true if all the positions are valid. So I believe this should work. And then we just do if not is fruit. Yeah, so this is fruit pattern stuff. All non-fruit target positioning Hopefully I haven't just broken a shit ton of things. Okay, well the good news is that the game does run. So I haven't totally fucked it. And the targets actually do spawn. Okay. So it seems we got the normal randomizer working fine. And just to double check, we'll go to a different pattern as well. The randomizer still seems to be working. Oops. Alright, so we'll get out of this. Alright, here we go. Let's see if the target spawns for this one. And the game crashed. Lovely. Good shit, me. Sir. What do we learn from this experience? So the game's fucking stuck. Like, I'm gonna need to Control-Alt-Delete this. Because we are currently stuck in a while loop. So that's absolutely wonderful. Oh boy, okay. Back into the fray. Um... Oh, I see the problem. So I think it set it to player X. But because I was too close... Yeah, so actually we can't do this. So we can't do this. And you know, just for this attack, we're gonna make it so that this decreases by 5 every time. To save a bit of processing. In fact, even better than that. Let's just set this to 10. Like, let's just not really care about the distance to the player as much. So then, let's Let's look at this. This should make it so that checks every X and Y. So then it should re-randomize the position. Let's see if that fixed it at all. Like, let's just stay as far away as possible. Oh, okay. So that worked. That worked. But that crashed. Okay. Right. Well, that fucking sucks. Okay. Huh. So wait, is it getting stuck on this? Less than... Less than that. Okay, I have an idea. I'm gonna show a debug message every time that this is decreased. And the debug message is just going to be fruit I plus a string of I. Debug. So we can see if that's what's crashing the while loop. Alright, so the game crashed. That's fine. So now we can... Now we can end this. Okay, so the funny thing here is it didn't debug anything. That's odd. I don't like that at all. Hmm. Oh. Oh. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Maybe let's try making this a bit more lenient for now. Okay, so it didn't crash. No crash. Dude, I panic every time. Like anytime the target is about to spawn, I'm scared that it's gonna crash. Absolutely terrifying. Well, there it goes. Yeah. God damn it. I also realized that Spotify is autoplaying. Um, yeah, let's just put this on. We'll have to go to the next song. Oh. So the interesting thing here is that the fruit eye actually never decrements, which is strange. Oh, wrong thing. So it's like... Okay, we're gonna do... if obj underscore spawner dot pattern equals 56, we'll set I to 200. So we'll half it. We'll set this to 5. Okay. So then... I'm just gonna remove this because it's not needed for this specific script. We're simplifying. I'm also gonna take this away just to simplify that. So we can step through this. While it is a fruit and it's invalid, it'll do this. So it has to be birth. And this can't be true. Can't be true. If it's true, it breaks out. Which is why when we validate this, we set fruit validation to true. And it's all spelt correctly. We have an iterator. We repeat for the length of obj underscore spawner's extra variables divided by 2. And for that many iterations, we check the distance between our x and our y versus the spawner's x and y. And we make sure that it's less than 100. Yeah, we see if it's less than 100. And if it is, we invalidate the fruit and we break the current repeat. Right. So then that would break out of this while fruit validation is false, hence repeating the script. I think I just rubber-ducked it. Hang on. I think I know the issue. It's because it only randomizes X and Y here, instead of randomizing it here. So it needs to re-randomize it. So basically, that's why. It's because it fulfills this requirement already, so it never repeats this, meaning that it never re-randomizes the position. God, I'm so smart. Okay. So then we just set it there. We randomize it here as well. So then it'll actually be able to run this more than once. And we can test this by going here. We can go into the bullet pattern, which this won't show on stream yet. OBS, please capture. Alright. Target should spawn. Yep, the target appears. Okay, so it seems to be working. And I can verify this in the console soon. Still working. Okay, so let's check this in the console, and this will verify that what I've done is now correct. So you can see now it actually randomizes it correctly, because you can see that it actually decrements it, so it can actually repeat. So on this one, it randomized it twice. This randomized it once. This randomized it a lot, actually. This randomized it 7 times. This randomized it once, and this randomized it 2 times. So it can actually repeat now without crashing. We have solved the puzzle, and I am ecstatic. If you can probably tell. I am ecstatic to have solved that. That was difficult. I did it. My brain has brained. We have peaked. Alright, with that said, I'm gonna quickly redo the sprite for this. That'll be my next course of action. Just very briefly. Got a sprite. Now the funny thing is we're actually gonna make the apples white. Okay, I actually should start this like this. Actually, we'll make it 31 by 31. Like that. Actually, you know what? We'll make it a bit bigger, actually. This is the real solution. Which obviously, this is a really weird resolution for a sprite? Like 35 by 35? What the hell is that? But let me cook for a second. Let me cook. So then, in order to get this to be lighter, we would actually have to draw something above this, I believe. So here's the plan. So let's assume this is red. Red as can be. Create the apple. Or the fruit, I guess, is what it's technically called. We're basically just going to use a transparent white to get this effect. And then we would basically do something a little like this. Okay. So there might be an easier way to do this, I just realized. What if we just did that? And then we just moved it over. Sounds good to me. Although I will have to mess with this a little bit. So then we do this. And there we go. We have essentially the delicious fruit from I Want to Be the Guy. However, I am going to have to merge this down. I'll actually have to make it a new frame. Okay, good. So then we can save this as fruit. And then we export this as fruit. Not much else to say there. Export this as fruit. Alright. Then we go back to Game Maker. Okay, let me do this. Oh, I realize you can't see this because classic game maker screen capture. Bear with me for a second. Save this. And I believe this should now all show up as needed. It's gonna redo the texture sheet, so we're gonna be waiting a little bit. Once OBS loads. Hey! There it is. And the beauty of this is that if we recolor the apple, which I've just done that here. If we recolor the apple by going to spawner, then setting the instance's image blend to the color. Oh. Actually, yeah, we can do that, and then we go to the spinner. Actually, how does the UFO do this? Okay, so it actually does just copy over the image blend as well. Yep, okay. This will essentially be the last thing that I do. Whoops. I accidentally reset achievements again. Okay, we go here. And now these can be any color. Yeah. Of course, I'll need to work on... They need to be a bit more saturated, because then otherwise you got this sort of situation, where like these are just pink apples, which is kind of strange. Which I believe, for cards, I already have a script that does this. So which pattern is cards? Okay, so cards is pattern 39. So if we find 39, go to the next. Oh, here we are. Aha. Here we go. So then... Yeah, okay. now these should be more saturated. Or at least I thought that would be the case. Did I change the wrong one? God damn it, I think I changed the wrong one. What did I do? What awful mistake did I make? Ah! I realized what I did wrong. Equals C underscore red, I believe. I'm gonna have to fix that up later. In fact, I'm actually gonna have to look at this in my source control, like right now. It's probably the safest thing to do. Ah, okay. I have looked inside my source control. I found what this is supposed to be. Okay, brain has brained. So yeah, it's supposed to be this. And that is why we use source control. Alright. Now with that all out of the way, now we should be fine. Yeah, so now it makes them a lot more saturated. We can have all different kinds of fruit. May need to make them slightly lighter, but... Yeah! I love that. Alright. So with that said, I am now going to end the stream. Yeah. So thank you for watching. I stream every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday at 1 a.m. GST. So I don't know if anyone is here, but if you are here and you want to see that, make sure to follow. But of course, that's up to you. I appreciate it either way. Thank you for watching, and let's go find someone to raid. I do have an ideal raid target. Yeah, we're going to raid Energinx, who is playing Content Warning with a bunch of other people. Yeah. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you on Friday, 1 a.m. GST, so same time as I streamed today.